All right. Testing. La la la. Okay. Not too loud back there. Right? This is not really my forte. Not on the mic. Not on the mic.
Get a little bit closer.
Don't announce
Mara.
that.
Get a little
Okay. Okay, but it is my forte to see Loisaida here. I know you guys are deep when you come on this rainy, cold day, and Loisaida means a lot to you. So thank you. I'm so happy that you're all here. Thank you for being here on this wonderful event that Juan and Alejandro, Village Preservation and Loisaida, DESO, Piragua Art Space, Bob Holman, and La Caridad, and Papoleto. I should know that.
You know that.
Papoleto! Okay, yes. And everybody here who is participating and trying to get this event together, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And my favorite part, reciting the Loisaida poem that is always relevant. And every time I recite it, I just get something new from it. And it is an honor and privilege to see my family and my friends and my husband, my mother-in-law, and everybody here. Okay, so this is how it goes. Oh, I know, because it's the makeup, right? I'm Mara Luna, Rivas, Miko, and I'm the middle child. My sister Sandra is the second middle child. We're both the middle child of the middle child. So, yes, and oh, is that makeup, maybe? No.
Oh, it could be the photo.
Should I move over? Over here?
He's saying don't move.
How's that? You're saying don't move? Who's saying don't move? Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
A little bit
Maybe
lower.
what we can do is just stop the projection
Yes,
Okay.
for a second.
yes, stop the projection for a second, that makes sense.
Thank you. I don't want to have a line on my forehead. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, let's get this going. Loisaida, Lower East Side. Nice. I love you. You're my lady fair. No matter where I am, I think of you. The mountains and the valleys cannot compare my love to you, Loisaida. I love you. I dig the way you talk. I dig the way you look. Me vacila tu cantar. Y yo me las juego fría pa' que vivas para siempre en mi mente. Yo te amo, Loisaida, mi amada Loisaida. En tus calles yo me siento muy feliz y saludable. Loisaida, yo te quiero. Increíble, increíble, sí. Una mezcla la perfecta. Una gente bien decente, de todas razas, que estiman, que te adoran, que no saben explicar lo que le pasa cuando ausente de tu calle es peligrosa. Sí, a ti, mi hermosa Loisaida, yo te quiero, te amo. Even with your drug-infected pocket parks, playgrounds where our young bloods hang around, waiting and hoping that one day when they too get well and smile again, your love is all they need to come around. Loisaida, my love, te quiero. A ti te aman. A ti, Alejandro. A ti, Juan. A ti, Deiso, Caridad, Papoleto, and Bob. Linda Cohen. Sandra Rivas. Ron, I see you. Juan Ma. Maria Dominguez and Barbara Caparelli. Joanna. Carolyn Curran. Chino Garcia. Charas, El Bohío, I love you. Te amo, Loisaida, Herman Hewitt, don't forget. Our buildings are burning up. And that, we've got to stop. Loisaida, my love, te amo.
Thank you, Mara. Now I get to follow you. I'm Juan Rivero. I am the East Village and Special Projects Director of Village Preservation. I wanted to welcome you to this event in honor of Bimbo Rivas on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the publication of Loisaida. So, a brief word about Village Preservation. In case you're unfamiliar, Village Preservation is a neighborhood preservation organization focused on the East Village, NoHo, and Greenwich Village. Since 1980, we have been documenting and celebrating these neighborhoods and fighting inappropriate development against them, and promoting appropriate development and advocating on behalf of its cultural institutions and its independent small businesses, as well as doing about 80 programs like this on all kinds of topics related to the neighborhood's history, culture, architecture, and development. So, in reflecting on this event this afternoon, it struck me that we are gathering here on the occasion of a poem, which struck me as unusual. I mean, I would guess that most poems ever written probably go unread. And the ones that find a broader audience are the exception, and the ones that touch a huge number of people, that's an even smaller exception. And so here you have one that has gone beyond that and helped give a neighborhood a name and a community a sense of cultural identity. And not just that, but pride in that cultural identity. And that alone would be no mean feat. But it did that in a time when the neighborhood suffered from a number of challenges. Lack of services, neglect, marginalized, and Bimbo saw through all that and somehow found beauty and love all around him. And so it is a testament to the enduring community that Bimbo helped cultivate that we have gathered tonight, relatives, colleagues, spiritual successors, to celebrate his work and his legacy. And we are thrilled to be partnering in this with our friends at Loisaida Center. And so I'm going to hand it over to Alejandro, who's going to guide us the rest of the evening.
All right. Thank you, Juan. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Loisaida Center. It's really a privilege to have you all join us. So many familiar faces, so many people that grew up in this neighborhood, have seen the neighborhood change since the times of Bimbo Rivas, and the times very well reflected on his poem Loisaida. Loisaida Center, it's truly an inspiration taken from those very hands and that very same mind. And we like to say that, you know, it's really an inspiration and for us to carry this legacy that people like Bimbo Rivas and Chino Garcia instilled in us. Loisaida, a little bit about the community development organization that was founded in 1979, carrying that name Loisaida. It was truly, you know, this organization that helped create also a lot of social change in the neighborhood, especially for Latino and immigrant families that were essentially outside of the scope of service the city provided at the time. And fast forward to, you know, my time here in 2014, as we saw the needs of this neighborhood change, we truly knew that the focus in preserving the arts and culture and a sense of place was really at the forefront of what this organization and this name should uphold. And for me, it's really an honor to now be leading this organization at this time, and to be joined by so many amazing activists, artists, and truly cultural workers that I stand on the shoulders of. Because I'm not sure if this is working very well. I kind of okay. Is it coming on enough? Loisaida, testing. All right. Thank you, Chris. All right. And also, you know, in the interest of time, and I know because Bob has another commitment that he has to run to, I want to say a quick introduction about Bob Holman. For those of you who don't know who Bob is, I'm sure a lot of you know. Spoken word performer, professor, impresario, and activist, and a founder of the Bowery Poetry Club. Also a filmmaker and a central figure in redefining poetry as it exists on, off, and beyond the page. Bob has taught in Princeton University, Columbia University, NYU, Bard College, and the New School. I recently was able to see Bob perform at Sonos exhibition a little bit further down in Manhattan, and it was truly a pleasure to see Bob performing essentially in front of Sonos paintings. And Bob is here to tell us a little bit about how it was to be around Bimbo at the time where there was so much creation and so much activism happening in the neighborhood. I will let Bob take it on to give us some historical context for Bimbo's work at the time and how it reflected that neighborhood politically and culturally.
Because I'm standing. That's why I need a mic stand. Well, it's all just one big happy family here. It's Bimbo's family, and it's so happy to see his kids here I haven't seen for quite a few years. Remembering Bimbo. Poetry balances life off the speakers. Yo, Bimbo. Bimbo Rivas. Yo, this and yo, that. Yes, balance with eternity. Just for a little while. That was a collaboration that Bimbo and I did in Irma Algarin's apartment up on Grand Concourse. I have to go afterwards because, wouldn't you know it, in one night, Victor Hernandez Cruz is up in the Bronx doing his thing. This whole month, he is the editor. Hey, Juan, you guys have really done a good job here, Alejandro. Okay, the whole month on the Academy of American Poets daily website, Victor Hernandez Merced Cruz has picked all the people who are going to be there. Papa's going to be in it tomorrow morning, and Caridad is going to be there every day. So we got that taken care of, and I apologize in advance. As Dr. Willie used to say, we are gathered here today because we are not gathered anywhere else today. So I must bring to you the night of all nights up at Irma's house. When, who was there? Oh, Miguelito, her little brother, which she had to keep under control, which sort of worked. The sister and brother of the gods, overlooking Yankee Stadium. There was Johnny Howard, Judge Johnny we call him now, and Miguel had a command performance. He demanded that all the poets who were present now must participate. And the first up was Peary Thomas. Peary Thomas. I'm not name dropping for myself here, folks. Peary Thomas, in from Berkeley, Punto, taking us down those main streets, Punto. Poems from a big black 3-ring notebook, Punto, filled with poems of his blessed cohort, Punto. Tato Laviera, La Carreta made a U-turn. Tato Laviera! Sandra Maria Estevez, Mockingbird, Wish Me Luck. Mikey Pinheiro, black woman with a blonde wig on, dedicated to those magnificent black women and their blonde wigs. Black woman with a blonde wig on, you're living in illusion. Think that head blanket bought from Macy's on a Lincoln sale is going to make the residents of Forest Hills lay out a black carpet to their blonde streets because you have some blonde horsehair on? Mikey Pinheiro. And Pedro was there. Yes, El Reverendo. Woke up this morning feeling excellent. Dialed the number of my equal opportunity employer to inform him. Will not be in to work today. I feel too good to report to work. If I still feel sick tomorrow, I will come in early. Oh, Pedro! And he was ripping those poems right off his condom cross, and the entire room was so high that this was the moment when Miguel demanded, I should say commanded, Bimbo, Bob, you two must battle to take our poems to the height of heights. Balance life off the speakers. Yo, Bimbo Rivas, yo this and yo that. Balance with eternity, just for a little while. The patron saint of the barrio, Jorge Brandon, was sick. He was old. He was tired. He was weary. He was homeless. And who invites him into his house? Even though he has a family of his own here, a no member of the family. It's Jorge himself in with Bimbo. Saint Bimbo of the streets brings inside the house Jorge Brandon.
Sí, como no, soy Bimbo Free Café.
Oh, the puppy of Papa is. He needed shelter. He stops in. Who is it there? Oh, Puppy! Jorge, who's born 50 years before Bimbo. So when he dies first, the air comes out of the community. When Bimbo's last word, La Poema, spoken in a kindergarten class to the poets of the future, Jorge was never the same. He couldn't believe it. This is not what was supposed to happen. This was not the way life is. Oh, balance life off the speakers, Bimbo. So give me some music here. El Coco que habla. Before the beginning of time, when you could rhyme sublime with sublime, because was a gag. In the mouth you had a laughing flag. In the land where the coconuts talked, where to move was to dance, was to walk, where sing would answer seek, there Jorge stayed up all week to catalog the beginning of the scene that was the never-ending dream. Nevermore he would cackle to Poe, wheelbarrows to Williams he'd flow, and the sun's horizon was rising and falling in oceanic frenzy and crawling. Sandy beaches were deserts becoming. Birds of no feather were buzzily humming. He enumerated the words. The syllables became words. Off he flew to the promised land. Borinqua grew a palm in his hand. His vision was his voice. Your ears had to rejoice. He'd wickedly splinter the meaning of center into atoms of busted dust and rust and trust. Padre Jorge, the master of sound, the creation of sidewalks the streets surround, the conductor of trains from reality's brains, the wheelchair of dictionary aeroplanes, this quivering quaver, Piriguero's flavor. Well, a friend of mine's interviewed, sobbed late at Jorge's stoop. Now you know life was Jorge's loop, and the world was Jorge's stoop. He circled the block many times. His cries would always rhyme. Oh, the patron saint of the barrio, the oldest new age jibaro. We cry now on your beer. We thought you would always be here. Your poems are spread over Loisaida. Mikey, Mikey, beside us. The poems don't stop, Jorge. You did not die yesterday. Roberto Clemente hits home runs. Jorge Brandon, the world's greatest poem. Wherever you go, I have been. I see you there always again. Viva Bimbo! Viva querido. Steve, you must forgive me now as Sono, my partner here, whose paintings I gave the poetry tour of. And I think Andre Codrescu, the poet, is here, coming also up to see our dear pal Victor Hernandez Cruz, who wants to also send his pardoname to everybody here from Victor. You'll all see him. He's going to be in town for about a month. You guys, I apologize, and I love you. And it's for Bimbo.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob Holman. Again, everyone. So, as Bob leaves us, I want to introduce then our next. Well, you already know a little bit about Mara, Bimbo, one of Bimbo's daughter. We are also joined by Sandra. And I want to invite Sandra to take a seat on the stage. Thank you so much. This is the legacy of Bimbo right here. As you all saw, Mara is a performer, an educator, and Sandra is a healer, a nurse, and also filmmaker, has done many artistic activities throughout her life, starting, of course, with Bimbo as his first maestro, right? So I want to start the conversation with both of you, and you, Mara, you have a mic right there, right next to you, and I'll pass this one along to you, Sandra, to let us know a little bit more about how it was growing up around Bimbo. How involved were you saw Bimbo in the community, and also how important were his artistic, we have this term now called artivism, but it's really these folks that truly embodied, both being an active participant in change and also an artist, in the words that I've heard Chino mention about Bimbo in an interview we did with him. Chino Garcia, founder of Charas, co-founder of Charas, who said of Bimbo, jack of many trades and a master of all. So I would love for you to provide us a context of that life growing up. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming and celebrating my father. As a child, I grew up in a village. My father called everyone into the home. So I grew up around artists. Where there was rubble, there was opportunity for growth. And that's what all the artists in our community ever saw. And so it was a village that I grew up around, and I was really lucky to have that influence in my life. I'm sorry. Because Loisaida is a state of mind, right? Loisaida is a spirit that we inhabit within ourselves. And when we come together like we're gathering today, it is a memory of that, and which still lives on. It's a fire, it's a burning fire. And growing up with my father, he was action. He wasn't about political red tape. He's like, we need to build this building. Well, let's get the bricks and put it together. He was the glue, and he was the motivator of a lot of people, and he allowed people to believe in themselves, whether they knew that they had it in them or not. He would be like, well, we need an engineer. Here, you are the engineer. And they're like, I know nothing about this. Oh, yes, you do. Just do it. It's going to happen. You know, so that's how I grew up, and he allowed you to believe in yourself, but he was an example. He led by example. He used to be a transit supervisor. He used to be, you know, he went to school. He was in the Air Force. You know, he did a lot of things that were in the square of society, but he was also knew that he had to come out of that square to make things happen for the people, for his people. Okay, so, and he was that charcoal, that inspiration, and he would bring people to his house, and we would leave to Washington to do marches. We had geodesic domes in the middle of our blocks. We would do potlucks where everybody would bring some food to the house. Okay, and it was nothing about color. I didn't know anything about racial division that was actually existing around all the rest of the United States. But in Loisaida was the melting pot of gold that is still that way. And I really love this community. It's hard for me to leave. I tried to leave. And I haven't been able to leave. I'm back. Yeah, there is no other place like Loisaida. There's no other place like the people of Loisaida. There's no one I've met yet like my dad. He was the best storyteller. Like, I used to lay and he would tell me stories that didn't even exist, and I would stay there listening for hours. And it was really amazing, you know, to have a creative person around you that was inspirational to many people, you know. And that's where I learned my everything, and, you know, and I appreciate everything he's done for all of us. And I don't know, Mara? Here you go.
We all,
Here you go. Mara?
it's true. It's true. We grew up with everybody coming into the house and participating in raising us. Right, because they were out doing demonstrations in City Hall and trying to create, you know, a Loisaida, and we were home with Chino and Linda or Carolyn, or she was older. I was home still, probably. But yes, I do remember being on his shoulders too. Okay, we would, you know, be there in demonstration. But she's right. Like, we were definitely a part of everything. My fondest memory as a little girl, growing up on 4th Street, is just like Sunday morning, like, you know, after he worked all week and we're in school all week, and just like watching like those Sunday football, definitely football, Star Trek, and I hated Star Trek. My husband loves Star Trek. My father and Robert, he would have loved my husband like so much. They would have been best friends. It's a loss, definitely. I wish he was still here, but luckily, like, all his friends like do this, and he's still remembered by the community. But I remember like just laying down and watching Benny Hill too, like on Sunday too, and like all these shows like PBS, and but like there was this opera singer that was like singing opera, and I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. And he was like, oh, let's do that together. You know, and then he would, oh, 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 because he could not sing. Well, you know, he could. But neither can I, and neither could I. But he was like, wow, you sound like an opera singer. And I'm, oh, you sound like an opera singer, Daddy. And, you know, and that was like my fondest memory, just sitting down and being in the home with him, and him like actually being home. Because he was working all the time, right? And, you know, being Loisaida for everyone. So that's really like growing up for me with Daddy, just Sunday morning. Yeah. Yeah.
Angie Hernandez, and also an important figure and an icon of this community. Those of you who don't know Deso, songwriter, community organizer, and youth advocate. His space, Piragua Art Space, I'm glad to say it's an ally space and really an amazing another cultural anchor that has sprouted in recent years. We're continuing to have this reverse gentrification, which I like to call through initiatives and activists like Deso, someone that I admire deeply as an artist as well. And because all of you grew up right around Bimbo and Chino and Angie, and at a time that cultural initiatives, were really anchored in art and activism. I would love for you all to tell us a little bit more about how it was being around Grupo Semi, Loisaida Folclórica, being around the play, because Bimbo was a playwright as well, and tell us a little bit more about, you as youth being around that whole scene, and what do you remember about that, and how did you feel about at that time?
I felt amazing. Thank you, Alejandro. I think it's so important to have had mentors like Bimbo that you could literally see paving the way and allowing you to believe that there's a place for you. As a kid, growing up in the South Bronx and the Lower East Side, a lot of times we felt like we didn't fit in. Felt that way for some time until my mom landed here in the Lower East Side and began making all these amazing friends that were involved in culture and the arts and all of that fun stuff. And I remember being around all of these amazing people. I'll go to the Orpheum Theater when Bimbo did the Piragüero play.
Stomp is now? That
Where
used to be
Stomp is now.
My uncle's theater. And
That
my
was the
father
theater
did the,
where
El Piragüero.
El
yes.
Piragüero. So this was our education. Basically, I'd be backstage watching all of these folks, like, they'd be up there just going over their lines, and I'd start memorizing the lines, and then at some point I started saying the line before the actual actor would say the line, and
Yes.
people are like, David, chill out, relax. I'm very inspired, I'm very excited. But I remember the time that the play, there was some technical difficulties on stage. And Bimbo is like pacing back and forth because he's very concerned about getting started on time. And I think I could have been about 7 years old. And I basically started imitating everything that he was doing, and he loved it. He's like putting his hand here, and I do the same thing. So we created a whole performance that would engage the audience until people would realize that this thing is delayed. So this is what he would do, is, what his daughters are talking about is how he would take the best of you, identify the best of you, and bring all of that out. I think that, there's a lot of people that are very talented. We know that he's a playwright and a director, and, but I think the special side of him is his empathy. He was a very caring person, and he shared his gift. There's a lot of people that have the talent, they don't share it. But he was one that really knew the value of sharing this with future generations, so that way we'd be here tonight celebrating him.
Yes.
And that was the gift that he left us. That is all for now. Thank you.
I also remember he was part of the, he was versatile in the sense that he could relate to upper class, middle class, lower class, whatever class you wanted to put in society. He was part of the Joseph Papp Shakespeare Theater. He did Brutus. He came out in, Broadway doing Short Eyes. My father was in film. He was everywhere in a short period of time because, he passed away at, 52, 50. And it's amazing now looking back because, I'm up there in his age bracket. And though I'm 28 forever.
And I'm 19.
Yes. So my thing is that he was very creative and was able to reach a lot of people humbly, And that's what he taught us. He taught us how to pick up and take action, not just sit there and wait for the next person to do it. And just give the other person the shovel. They will definitely pick it up and do it. They do have to believe in themselves.
Right, and it's not just about being pretty. You have to pick up the shovel, and you have to build the building, too.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for that kind of glimpse into your home life with Bimbo, and I'm sure there's many wonderful memories that you still have that we could still be sharing here tonight. But we also have two other guests here, Jesus Palpoleto Melendez and Caridad de la Luz. I'm not sure if I should say, old school and new school Nuyorican Poets Cafe, but definitely both, anchors of this community, definitely Papoleto, someone, a living legend. I have to say that it's really great to have you here, Papoleto and Caridad. And I know that we are, remembering Bimbo and that legacy, but I would like to say that you continue and you've lived that legacy, and it's really a pleasure to have you both. And I would love to get both of your experiences around Bimbo's living legacy and also his influence on your work. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, everything that's been said about Bimbo,
But not by you.
but not by me, is very, very, like wholesome. It brings a better picture of him into focus because we were all very young. I didn't realize that Bimbo was like 10 years older than me when we were all doing this. I considered we were all teenagers, but he wasn't. He was older than the rest of us, and people have called him everything. I've heard everything here. Like he was a poet, playwright, actor, all these things. But, what strikes out to me are words like legend and pioneer and poet, because that's what I've been most of my life as a poet. But what I understand about poetry is that poetry is about empathy, and including self-empathy. It allows the writer to be empathetic onto something else or oneself. And Dasso mentioned it, that empathy. He, to me, a lot was going on, and, people, have been accused of being thisist and thatist. And that Bimbo did a lot of great work. It's attached to the community. Everybody talks about it, his activism. But, art is activism, period. Just out front. It doesn't matter what you're saying. It's always going to bother somebody one way or another. So that's activism.
and it's always, like I said, empathy. So it's empathetic to someone, usually, love, but their poems that sponsor that sponsor war as well. So, it's everything. It's life, and so he embodied all of that in everything that he did. And I think the core to that was his poetic nature, that is like magnanimous. It's giving. It's something that shares the experience of other people with oneself and vice versa. So in that, like he was a pioneer, like what was said earlier about, having to name a whole community something, the play of words with Lower East Side, Loisaida, which is very, very poetic, like New York, Nuyorico, there's some things you can't fix, not even with calculus, but you could, fix some things like Nuyorican and so forth. So, I think I looked that up, Wikipedia is aware of it, of Loisaida, that's the deal. And the thing about a poem affecting so many people globally and blah, it's poems speak. Pedro Pietri, the late great poet, we would joke about a lot of things. So one of the things, we had a thing called UPA. UPA, it's Universal Poetry Appreciation. And yeah, but it's not a thing, it's a sound. It's That's it. That's the height of poetry. So, anyway, I just want to say that the thing about Bimbo, with everything, that he suffered a cardiac incident while he was teaching his last class to kindergarten kids. I remember I heard that. I was like, wow, devastated. What a thing. They always say, oh, he died doing what he was happy. Okay, yeah, right. But still in all. But there he was again, giving and being in the element of a poet, a pioneer, and to coin the phrase, Loisaida. But the best quality that I think that Bimbo had, in my opinion, because we were crazy. I mean, you saw Bob. That was, I wasn't there. I probably lived in California while they were doing that. I would have been there. But, so is that, in my estimation, your father was the best of us. He had the best qualities. He was really true, there was no games to him. He, I like the fact, that you said about the playing around, the spontaneity of jumping into something, You do that when you're true to yourself.
The show must go on.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that,
This one is for him.
okay. I may be the only person that never got to meet Bimbo, but have been told, and Bimbo lives everywhere in Loisaida. Everywhere you go, Bimbo's there. His spirit is there. Right, Two Boots Pizza, if you're gonna have a slice, you're gonna see the mosaic of Bimbo there. So it's like I sit there in that table and eat with Bimbo. I'll be by myself and I eat with Bimbo. And Deso told me about the building on 4th Street, and then I watched Viva Loisaida and heard his own words and his inspiration, and it gives me chills because you can only hope to live in that way and embody that way of being, the poetic being, the activist. And so I wrote something, and I'll share it. I wrote this last night, in the inspiration after thinking about what am I gonna do here today for Bimbo. You want me to stand? Sure. Okay. And I know Bimbo loved children. I love children, the innocent children of the world. They all belong to us. And Bimbo Rivas was a hero of this grassroots cultural movement that began over 50 years ago in response to the social, political, and economic challenges faced by our Puerto Rican community in the Lower East Side, lovingly coined Loisaida, thanks to Bimbo. Loisaida exists in the place I lovingly call Nuyorico, the place of Boricuas en la Gran Manzana who speak Spanglish, and Bimbo with the vision of a cultural advocate, of a community activist, of a bilingual poet. He went on to highlight the struggles of our grandparents and our parents' generation of the working class using visual art, music, dance, and theater to create visibility, equity, and collective identity among all the residents of the Lower East Side at the time. They were facing the ongoing challenges of poverty, displacement, and discrimination, where to live, where to work. He created a blueprint on rebuilding during a time of abandon. His work has left a lasting impact. The Loisaida Center exists as testimony to his vision. The Loisaida Festival continues to grow and showcase the best of our community. His efforts inspired this generation to preserve the Boricua identity of Nueva York, that continues to contribute cultural vibrancy to the Lower East Side and the world. He's a key figure in the creation of Nuyorican culture and the tradition of fostering community among Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Black, Indigenous, people of color, and all of our allies. Loisaida remains a powerful symbol of the rich history Bimbo came from and the development of a distinctive identity in New York City's urban landscape. His legacy will live on in the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. His spirit serves as a guide through this most incredible time of what we are calling Nuyorican construction, this $24 million renovation in 3rd Street. When I became executive director, I made sure to paint a flag on that building and let them know que aquí somos Boricua. The importance of stewarding land, cultivating art, and advocating for visibility, equality, and celebrating the culture that makes Boricua activists so respected. And here is the little poem that I wrote last night. And if I say that I wrote something new, you're supposed to say, thank you. We are the mouths of the East River that flow from El Yunque. We are the mountain touching the sky. We are the fist held high. We are the drum beating our ancestors' pulse. We are a heart being heard. We are the roots, the bones, the birds. We sing thank you to the sun rising in the dawn. We are the fight, the flight, the freeze, the fawn. We twist our inheritances of dark and light into baskets that hold space for trauma to transform reality and inform our insecurities, that we can feel safe now because we are in Loisaida.
Very strong. Thank you so much, Caridad. So, in the spirit of creation, I want to show you all this rendition, special rendition of Bimbo's Loisaida by a resident that cannot be here tonight, unfortunately, Jesse Montgomery, a student of the Third Street Music School, a product of this neighborhood. And an amazing composer. I want to check with Paul if we have the video on cue for that, and for Chris, if you can turn off the lights, so we can all enjoy this this very, very new way of looking at Loisaida, I would say. Thank you. Yeah, Jesse's work, it's really a testament on how Bimbo's work has really transcended, so many different disciplines. And I wanted to play this all for you because I found it very powerful when I first heard it. And also because Jessie is still very much in touch with her roots in the neighborhood. I mean, she grew up on 3rd Street. She fondly remembers, just essentially playing in the garden on 3rd Street and just really being involved in the community. Her mother also was a regular at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, as she tells me. Her mother's not with us anymore. But again, just thought that this would be the perfect place to showcase this cello piece and opera rendition of Loisaida's Bimbo's poem. So. We're now going to, open up the mic to questions from the audience or comments. And before we leave, we have about 10 minutes for that. And before we leave, I want to close the night with a performance by Daiso as well. So if anyone wants to, has a question or a comment for any of our guests. Okay. Well, I. Did you need a job, Kiki? All right. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's one around, Joanna. Okay, well, if there are no questions from our audience, I do want to mention 2 things that are very important in that relate to 2 very iconic people in this community and people that we really owe a lot of this legacy to. And one of them is photographer Marlise Mumber, who've you seen. We can put up the slideshow again, Chris. But we do have, we're launching an auction to support Marlise. As you know, she's a cancer survivor and someone that's really going through it right now. Thankfully, she's being taken care of by her son and friends, and she's living right now in her place in New Paltz, but really struggling to pay some of her medical bills and really just live her day to day. So we're launching an auction of in partnership with the Museum of Reclaimed Urban Space, Morris, to fundraise for Marlise. All funds from this auction will go towards her and her son. And we're not sure yet when the closing of the auction would happen, but we have Irene here from Morris, who essentially developed the website where you can go in and bid on these photographs. We're also have they're signed prints by Marlise as well, so very special artist proofs that you'll be able to bid on. So I encourage you to visit marlisemumber.com to check that out and support Marlise, of which we really owe. We are indebted to for these amazing documents of our culture. And I want to also pass the mic to Mara Luna to give us an update on Chino Garcia as well. Mara.
Okay, so Chino is at Gouverneur right now. He's the nursing home in where is it? Where's the nursing home? Gouverneur, Madison, right? And he has some issues, some various health issues. And we all know Chino Garcia, right? He is very sick right now. He has a UTI, and it always gets him. And also some issues with his heart. But what? Okay, I said UTI. That's like bad for elderly people. So just saying. Sorry. But he's human and he's normal, and we all are human, and we have these issues, and we're all going to get old one day and need somebody to take care of us. I'm like, I feel bad. He you know, he's given so much to the community, and I know that everybody is there for him. It's just that, like, he was just, all right, he's okay. He's just struggling right now. And he needs to get strengthened again. So he's going to Gouverneur to get the physical, thank you, the physical therapy that he needs. But he shouldn't be alone on any of the holidays. And he should have a lot of support from the community, a little bit more. His daughter can't do every single thing. She's taking care of his health and basically, you know, making all the doctor's appointments. But he's like a guy that needs like a social committee. He needs somebody that's gonna like bring him to all these events. You know, somebody, and Taina can't do it all. She's in California, you know? So if you have like some extra time, like go see him, talk to him, like a 5-minute visit or whatever. I'm sure he would appreciate it, and he'll feel like that love and that support from the neighborhood, and that, you know, that he has given all of us throughout the years. And why I even know Alejandro and you know, just, it's not like a guilt. I'm not trying to like guilt you into seeing him. I'm just like saying, just see him because it's gonna make you feel better. You're gonna feel better.
Thank you, Mara. And yeah, I mean, again, this is just an update for you, just so that you know that it would be greatly valuable, I think, for anyone's health, right, to have friends visit him in this time. So thank you so much, Mara, for all you do. All right, and Daisel, so we're closing off the program with Daisel's performance, unless anyone else has any other questions or any of our panelists wants to say anything else. You ready? Yeah. Yes, David? Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can provide any information you like. All right. Yes, sir. Sure. Mm.
Any way that you folks can get hold of Dos Mundos Angelita, those two worlds of Angelita, and have a public showing of the film?
Thank
He was
you.
one of the main actors in the movie.
It's online.
It's online, yes.
Sure, we definitely will organize that for sure. Thank you for letting us know. Definitely, and we'll connect then, Sandra, on that.
Sure.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Check. Okay.
All right, so we're ready for
Yeah,
this.
this is. Can I get a little more on the mic, por favor? Thank you. Yeah. All right. Bimbo Rivas. Can I get a little yes? Thank you. Yes. We're gonna. Can you bring up the volume on this music video, por favor? Thank you. Song called Silent Heroes. I feel very was very appropriate for today. Co-written by Bimbo Rivas with a band called Loisaida. Give it up to a band called Loisaida, Edgar Rivera, Edwin Pupa Santiago. Pupa would have been here with us if he wasn't chilling in Puerto Rico. I remember once I joined the band a decade after I saw them as a kid, Pupa recruited me to be the lead vocalist for said band. And and I was like, yo, this is amazing. I remember seeing you guys as a kid when I was at Tompkins Square Park and the Orpheum Theater and all these other wonderful spaces where they perform. But I realized the love relationship that Pupa and Bimbo had, because Bimbo used to love to be in everything, and he would just show up to what was supposed to be a closed rehearsal, and Bimbo would just show up, hey, what's going on, guys? And Pupa was like, listen, we're trying to do this rehearsal. You guys are way too serious. You're taking this way too serious. So I guess it was through one of those encounters that he had the opportunity to collaborate and put together a song. And I think we're hearing the song now. Chévere. Silent Heroes, I think it's about celebrating under-celebrated folks that are our heroes. So give it up for Bimbo Rivas. If I can get a little more volume on the track.
Streets, wishing away
Thank you, Juan, so much for. Thank you, Sandra, Maraluna, Caridad, always La Bruja. Thank you so much, and Deso, my brother. Thank you. Thank you, Papoleto, for making yourself available. Maestro, and of course, Bob, wherever you are. Thank you.